In the glittering world of high finance, Lena Kwan was a name whispered with a mix of awe and envy. She was the ice queen of the boardroom, a self-made empress who had built a corporate dynasty from scratch. Her life was a fortress of glass and steel, meticulously planned and ruthlessly executed. She had no time for distractions, and certainly no time for men. Little did she know, her fortress was about to be breached by the most unexpected of invaders. Our story begins at the city's most exclusive charity gala. Lena, a vision in a sapphire gown, navigated the room with practiced ease. She was there to network, to conquer, to add another jewel to her corporate crown. Then it happened. A sudden jolt, a gasp from the crowd, and a splash of crimson red down the front of her expensive dress. A young man, looking utterly mortified, stood before her, an empty wine glass in his trembling hand. He was handsome, with disheveled hair and wide, apologetic eyes that seemed to swim with innocence. "I'm so sorry," he stammered, fumbling with a napkin. "I'm Lucas. Lucas Chun. I'm just a student. I'm really clumsy." Lena, normally sharp and unforgiving, found herself disarmed. He looked so genuinely distressed, so out of place among the city's elite. She managed a tight smile. "It's fine. It's just a dress." But Lucas insisted on making it up to her. He offered to pay for the cleaning, to buy her a new one, to do anything she asked. His sincerity was refreshing. Against her better judgment, Lena gave him her number, chalking it up to a strange, slightly charming encounter. This chance meeting was the first of many. Suddenly, Lucas Chun was everywhere. He was the barista at her favorite coffee shop, apologizing for messing up her order. He was the volunteer at the animal shelter she supported, tripping over a leash and landing in a heap at her feet. He was the student she nearly hit with her car when he darted into the street, chasing a windblown paper. Each encounter was a symphony of adorable clumsiness and earnest apologies. Lena found herself smiling more, her icy exterior slowly melting away. This Lucas was a breath of fresh air, a sweet, harmless boy who made her feel normal. She started looking forward to their accidental run-ins. He'd tell her about his classes, his struggles with calculus, and his dream of becoming an architect. He was a simple, open book, or so she thought. The truth was far more complex. Lucas Chen was no ordinary college student. He was the enigmatic and feared leader of the city's most powerful underground organization, the Black Dragons. The clumsy student was a carefully crafted illusion, a role he played with masterful precision. The spilled wine, deliberate. The coffee shop job, a new acquisition. The animal shelter, a hefty donation. Every single accidental meeting was a move in a game of chess only he was playing. He had watched Lena from the shadows for years, captivated by her strength and intelligence. He knew her world was as dangerous as his own, just with different weapons. He wanted to get close to her, to protect her, but knew his true identity would send her running. So, he became the one thing she would never suspect, a helpless, charming boy. While Lena was being wooed by a phantom, trouble was brewing in the city's underbelly. A rival gang, the Vipers, had been making aggressive moves, encroaching on Black Dragon territory. Their leader was a ruthless man known for his brutality, and he had his sights set on a new prize, Kwan Enterprises. Lena's company was a gateway to legitimate power and unimaginable wealth. The Vipers began their assault subtly, targeting Lena's supply chains and sabotaging her deals. Lena, a veteran of corporate warfare, fought back with everything she had, but these attacks were different. They were vicious, personal, and escalating fast. She started receiving anonymous threats. Her car was run off the road. A fire broke out at one of her warehouses. Fear, an emotion Lena had long since buried, began to creep in. During this time, Lucas was her rock. He'd show up with coffee after a sleepless night, listen to her vent about her business troubles, and offer simple, heartfelt encouragement. He was her safe harbor in a raging storm. But behind the scenes, the student was waging a war. His men moved like ghosts, intercepting the Viper's attacks, protecting Lena's assets, and retaliating with swift, silent force. Every threat that got too close was neutralized before it could reach her. Lena saw only the results. A hostile takeover bid miraculously withdrawn, a key witness against her recanting their testimony, a dangerous thug arrested on unrelated charges just blocks from her home. She called it luck. Lucas called it Tuesday. The charade couldn't last forever. The Vipers, frustrated by their failures, decided on a direct approach. One evening, as Lena was working late, her office security was breached. The Vipers' leader and his men stormed in, their intentions clear and violent. Lena's blood ran cold. This was it. There was no escape. But just as the leader reached for her, the office doors burst open. It was Lucas, but not the Lucas she knew. The clumsy, sweet student was gone. In his place stood a man of chilling calm and lethal authority. His eyes, once wide and innocent, were now cold, hard steel. He wasn't wearing a university sweatshirt. He was in a sharp, dark suit, flanked by men who moved with the deadly grace of predators. The air crackled with tension. "Lucas, what are you doing here?" Lena whispered, her mind reeling. The Viper's leader laughed. "Lucas? You mean the Black Dragon? You've been playing with the devil's little pet, darling." Lucas ignored him, his gaze fixed on Lena. His voice was low, a velvet growl she had never heard before. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, unable to speak. The transformation was too much. The man before her was a stranger. A brutal, efficient fight erupted. Lucas moved with a speed and precision that was terrifying to watch. It was over in minutes. The Vipers were disarmed and subdued, their leader groaning on the floor. Lucas walked over to him, his shadow falling across the defeated man. "You made a mistake," he said, his voice dangerously soft. "You touched what was mine." He then turned to his men. "Get them out of my sight." Silence descended upon the luxurious office. Lena stared at him, a whirlwind of confusion, betrayal, and a strange, terrifying flicker of attraction. "Who are you?" she finally asked, her voice trembling. He walked towards her, the dangerous aura softening as he got closer. The hard lines of his face eased, and a hint of the boy she knew returned to his eyes. "My name is Lucas Chun," he said softly, "and I'm sorry I lied to you. It was the only way I could get close. The only way I could keep you safe." He explained everything. The years of watching over her, the staged encounters, the silent war he had been fighting on her behalf. He had fallen for the powerful, brilliant woman long before she ever knew his name. The clumsy student was a mask, but the feelings were real. Lena's world had been turned upside down. The man she thought was a harmless distraction was the city's most powerful protector. The sweet boy was a dangerous king. Her fortress hadn't been breached. It had been guarded all along. Looking into his eyes, she saw the truth. She saw the clumsy boy who spilled wine on her dress, and the ruthless leader who would burn the world down for her. And in that chaotic, terrifying moment, Lena Kwan, the Ice Queen, realized she was completely and utterly in love with both of them. This wasn't the end of their story. It was just the explosive, complicated, and very, very real beginning. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.